Nigeria's main opposition, the People's Democratic Party, has conducted its presidential primary election, with former Vice President Atiku Abubakar emerging victorious again after defeating his closest opponents, Nyesom Wike and Bukola Saraki. Now, Atiku's emergence has resulted in mixed reactions within the party and among Nigerians. How are the defeated presidential aspirants taking the developments and, of course, the new reality? What are the deals, the betrayals, and other last-minute horse trading that led to Atiku's emergence, and how is he wooing his opponents to support his candidacy? Who will Atiku choose as his running mate? We will be speaking to one of those persons who played a key role during the campaigns of these presidential aspirants, including Senator Bala Mohammed. Now, also, the foremost socio-political group in the southeast, Ohaneze Ndigbo, has bemoaned Atiku Abubakar's emergence as the party's presidential candidate, saying that the PDP is now fully a northern party, with its presidential candidate, national chairman, and board of trustees chairman, all from the north. Will the candidate make up for this by choosing a running mate from the southeast again, like he did in 2019? We will analyze the intrigues with an analyst. I'm Sumner Sambo, and this is the Arise interview. The show. Now, the People's Democratic Party, Nigeria's main opposition, has commenced the search for a running mate to its presidential candidate in the 2023 general election, Atiku Abubakar, less than 48 hours after the election of the former vice president at the primaries. Now, Atiku has also been paying visits to other presidential aspirants that he defeated on Saturday. Now, he first visited Aminu Tambuwal, and he has also visited his main challenger, Nyesom Wike. Now, according to reports, top members from the South-South and Southeast regions of the country are topping the list of prospective running mates being considered by both the PDP and the candidates, with the likelihood of a state governor emerging as a running mate. Now, among those being considered are Delta State Governor Ifeanyi Okowa and his Akwa Ibom State counterpart Udom Emmanuel, who came fifth with 38 votes in the presidential primary election. Now, also on the list are Edo State Governor Godwin Obaseki and the former President of the Senate, Anyim Pius Anyim. Now, the PDP, like other political parties, has a June 17 deadline set by the Independent National Electoral Commission to meet up for the submission of the name of its running mate. Well, now, for more on this, I'm being joined by a political strategist, and of course, he was also the spokesman of the Bala Mohammed campaign organization, but he was in the midst of all of these intrigues that happened and played out, and is a very senior party strategist in the country. Professor Udenta O Udenta now joins us. We have been having a series with you because, I mean, you understand how political parties work, having been a former secretary of a national party in the country, and you are a strategist, a social commentator, and someone who was in the midst of all of these intrigues that played out on Saturday. And we want to start by asking, how's your principal taking his defeat? I mean, Senator Bala Mohammed scored 20 votes, and there are 20 local governments in Bauchi State. Does it mean that only those from Bauchi that voted for him?
Oh, we tell Sambo, it's a pleasure to be with you again today. It's been quite some robust exchanges in the past, and I'm sure going forward in the future. One is that the political climate is in top season. That means everybody's engaged. In the next 1 week or so, APC will respond to the PDP by having, their own presidential primaries and have the candidate that will square out against the PDP candidate, Atiku Abubakar, and possibly the candidate from other political parties, for us to have a robust conversation.
Yeah, we just heard that Peter Obi has emerged as the candidate of the Labour Party.
And I'm sure a few others will emerge from somewhere in other parties too. As for Senator Bala Mohammed, he's full of equanimity of soul and mind. He traversed the country, selling his vision of governance, the Nigeria First agenda. And every stop, you hear him say, I'm a thoroughbred party man. I'm a creature of the political party called PDP, and I'm a Democrat, a principled one at that. I will work extra hard to win, but if I fail to win, to make it to the finishing line, I will back with robust energy and proud commitment whoever is the candidate of the party. That is a statement of principle and logic. That means he has accepted the outcome with good faith and good cheer. And here we do everything humanly possible to support the candidate of the party and support the party itself. As for the question he posed, who we know, in a secret ballot exercise, you will never learn what happened, who voted for who. The processes were, of course, complicated. The landscape was chaotic up to a point because initially had a slate of 4,000 aspiring delegates to choose from, making the field a large field of contestation in terms of those that appeal to. Suddenly, 2-3 days to the primary election, it shrank down to only 811, including the special delegates, now to 774, and ultimately 767, as the case may be, that put themselves out there. In that complicated scenario, when a campaign designs a strategy of engagement, communication, and messaging, which he's very brilliant and good at, there could be a few lapses in other areas of the campaign that could result in results you didn't expect. Every campaign, as I'm talking, including a winning campaign, is engaged in robust conversation internally. That means some review process going on, what happened, what went wrong, what did he do right or wrong, and so on, and even overall review and post-mortem on the processes that led to the outcome. Was it equally democratic? Were there lapses in organizational method and modalities adopted by the party? What are the lessons to be learned going forward? But for Senator Bala Mohammed, he's comfortable with himself.
Yeah, we haven't seen him congratulating Atiku Abubakar.
Oh, he did. He did.
Okay.
Oh, fully. Let me take it from your mouth. He did. Okay. Right on the ground. Right on the ground there.
Okay.
Yes.
And then eventually we haven't seen Atiku Abubakar also visiting him like he's visiting Wiki. And,
I can place that in context. First and foremost, he congratulated him in person, right there, and followed with a tweet that has gone viral all over the place. And as I said, I am a Democrat. I'm principled in my political stance. If I don't win, I will back whoever the party, whether it's Atiku, whether it's Wiki, whether it's Ubi, whether it's Anyim, or whoever. That has happened. That simply means he is prepared to work with the winner of this primary election, with the standard of the party. As for visiting, if you recall, there was an issue in year one local government, a sad incident of some looting and burnings and so on, and he needed to be here for the primary election he was part of, but his heart and mind was in Bauchi. The moment this exercise was over, he had to fly back to Bauchi in order to help the security agencies and local community engagement process to stem that situation. I think he's calm now, and I'm sure in the next couple of days or thereabout, he will still attend to situations in Bauchi, get back to Abuja, and the conversation with Atiku will commence.
Okay. Now, the reason why I brought you here again is for us to conclude the review exercise that we started earlier on, talking about the PDP, the aspirants, and of course, we already know your bias, Bala Mohammed and all of that. But let's talk about the intrigues that played out. The last minute horse trading. Bala Mohammed comes from the Northeast. We also have Mohammed Hayatuddin coming from the Northeast, and then Bukola Saraki coming from the North Central, and then, it goes on like that. But there was this meeting of Northern Elders that was held, and we heard that your principal was asked to step down. But he refused to step down. He went straight into the primaries, but we could see Mohammed Hayatuddin stepping down the morning after that meeting. Bukola Saraki also refused to step down. Tell us more about some of these intrigues and why it looks like your principal wouldn't want to step down for an Atiku, having seen that the elders are saying that, look, you're coming from the Northeast, allow Atiku to go so that the Northeast will have a better chance of having a candidate.
Let me nuance the conversation. You're a deeply experienced journalist, an advocate for the people. But all you've said lie at the realm of speculation. So you want me now to comment heavily for millions of viewers on a matter, I'm coming on a matter that without any factual context, maybe anecdotal evidence or circumstantial evidence, I'm not going to probe that. Every conversation around the party process must be nuanced. For one, Hayatuddin stepped down for reasons he expressed his sadness or angst for the way and manner this whole process was playing out. He did not step down for anybody. He simply said, I'm coming. He simply said, I'm not comfortable with this, the monetization.
Monetization, that's what we are saying.
I'm coming. That's the meeting. I'm coming.
That we are very sure of. And I asked your principal, Bala Mohammed, when I interviewed him on Saturday at the convention ground, and he indeed confirmed to me that there was a meeting where he was asked to step down, and he said he won't.
You asked the question. My duty is to answer, to respond. You've placed the question very well for the public to hear you. Hear me out. How did he step down because of the monetization of the process? That is what he said. Tambuwal stepped down because he wanted to give space to a brother and an elder Atiku in order to have a better jump start.
As the official statement.
That's the official statement. See, Bala Mohammed's position is very simple. He's a bridge builder. In 2010, the dark moment of this country, with the cabals and whatever region all over the place about the succession to Yar'Adua who was dying, the doctrine of necessity, I will not stop talking about it, breached the North and the South. The North wasn't too comfortable with it, and his position, he became a pariah of a sort. Why would you, a Northern Muslim, stand to say a Southern vice president should step up to become an acting president? He said, no, the country is one constituency. We're one people, one value, one history, one destiny. That means what is good for the North is good for the South. He stood at that bridge. Yesterday, he stood at another bridge. This party, PDP, is a delicate institution, and the nation is passing through a very brittle moment of uncertainty. So to heavily load your support on one side of the geographic and demographic aisle against the other will not only lead to a successful outcome for the moment, but will lead deep, bitter impressions down the line. Yeah, I'm coming. He's a patriot to the core, and the patriotism means let the democratic process play out. When the outcome is settled and the winner is determined, rally around the leader to build a new party, build a new phase of Nigerian resurgence, build a new phase of engagement with the people of the country. That is his stand. The stand is that if you come to an environment in which you're supposed to binarize your decision, either or for, you either take this side or take that side, the best is to be at the middle, to be the bridge that connects different geographies, different systems, different institutions, different structures, and different processes. That means from the south, from the north, from the east, from the west, from the young, from the old. All their passions played out on Saturday. The high drama of the day, the high drama of the night. Bala stood at the center to say, you must be an inclusive leader. And we can take some heat from both sides to say, you shouldn't have done this, you should have done this. At the end, history will record him correctly and be fair to him. Okay,
the People's Democratic Party has eventually held its primaries and Atiku has emerged. Do you think that he's a stronger candidate that can withstand whoever the APC will be presenting? And how soon do we hope to see other presidential aspirants, co-contestants with him, rallying around him to present a united PDP?
Let me start from the second process. It's already happening. In your intro, you pointed it out. He has reached out as he ought to. The winner, the victor, reaches out to the vanquished. He must heal the wounds of the time or binds the wounds of division in the party first before he can bind the wounds of division in the country. By reaching out to Wike, by reaching out to Tambuwal, I'm sure when my principal comes in Abuja and reaching out to him and others, not just the contestants, that's the primary constituency, all of you are contestants, are primary aspirants, other leaders of the party across the country. In the southeast, among the Igbo people, there's a lot of rumble going on, so a lot of work needs to be done. He has started that admirably well. The second part, the first part of the question is, this is one of the strongest fields of the PDP contest. I know what the field was in 2018. There was Atiku who won. There was Tambuwal who lost. There was Bullock Salaki who ran but lost. This 2022, 2023, you had the same Atiku as fixture there. Bukola Saraki, Tambuwal, Bala Mohammed, Wike, P2P, who was tapped as a running mate there, Power Sanyim. This is one of the strongest fields of PDP in terms of primary contestations. In 1998-99 was a way man of Obasanjo essentially with Rimi there, played a marginal peripheral role. 2023, 2 or 3. Jonathan and Yar'Adua emerged. But this moment presents the party the best opportunity. Out of the wounds of this primary season, out of the rancor that preceded this emergence of Atiku, out of the contestations of ideologies and value system, with the zoning issues all over the place, it presents opportunity for him, having beaten the Rex in a very strong field, to put his party together, invoke the specter of rebuild and rescue, and then prepare for the first time in our recent transitions, 6 odd months. Not 2 weeks, not 4 weeks.
Unlike before.
Unlike before.
It's a long stretch.
A long stretch now for you to design a strategy, hone in your messaging, build infrastructure of your campaign, not only your own primary campaign, but the campaign of all the contestants must be built together in a holistic form. If you want to go through the route of inclusivity, that will give you opportunity to now be broad based in your thinking and reasoning, and then possibly hope for the best in terms of the contestation coming ahead.
Yeah, before we go to the issue of his running mates, when you see Yoche Ayu as a party's national chairman visiting Tambuwal and saying that Tambuwal was the hero of the night, I mean, a lot of Nigerians have been misinterpreting it and saying, why would the national chairman of the party be doing this? I mean, it's too early for him. Does it look like there was a predetermined agenda?
Many things happen in the passion of the moment. And the passion of the moment doesn't lie in minutes or seconds or milliseconds. It will happen in hours and hours and so on. I'm sure the chairman of the party, I won't speak for him, and his NWC, was a man under pressure and ran the system under pressure, which means to deliver a successful convention. That's the primary focus. Secondly, to believe a convention that is coherent, was coherent in nature and coordinated and well organized. And then the final is that the bitterness that we trail it should be grossly reduced. So in spite of the controversial nature of the decision of Tambuwal and equally the controversial comment of the chairman, I'm sure that passion is that we have come out of this not a broken party. We'll come out not a sorely divided party. There's time to heal wounds, like I say, bind the wounds of division. Among those who have felt bad about the outcome, on the one hand in terms of the southern zoning warriors, and secondly those who have felt that excessive interplay of political forces and passions in terms of stepping down, in terms of the chairman making such comments there, we come and go, and the party we find is bearing. The party supremacy is key. If you believe the supremacy of the party, it means you must always forgive the party and its leadership, whatever infraction they may have caused somewhere down the line.
Okay, and the PDP has actually scored very well. A lot of people are saying that the process was good. I mean, it was well organized and all of that, apart from the inducements that we saw, and then the monetization, obscene monetization.
Where did you see that?
Well,
as a senior journalist.
Well, the thing is that Udenta O Udenta, you can't tell me that it didn't happen. We were journalists, we were at the venue before the convention, we saw what was going on, but it's left for the anti-graft agencies to do what's needful.
Let me comment quickly.
Let
me quickly comment about that. I will not go into dignify comments about inducement with any modicum of commentary, but I can say in principle, a bourgeois political process, brings in the interplay of variables, of logistics, travels, everything they can talk about. Do you know what it takes for even delegates to leave the comfort of their zone, fly in a very expensive, Nigerian commercial flight system, grant accommodation and stuff like that, etc. And again, have the passion and commitment for this. Some delegates were even in town for 2, 3, 4 days and so on. But that's not the way to talk about. That's not the way, Nigerians interpret political outcomes. A bourgeois democratic exercise or a liberal democratic system, the way we practice, is different from a puristic political order. Anybody who expects Nigerian politics to be drained completely of monetization processes is wasting time, because at the end of the day, the lifeblood of political campaigns is resources. That's why in the US, billions of dollars are spent because they really need to get to the people, explain yourself very well, hone your messages there, convince them with passion and belief, and at the end of the day, you hope to win.
Well,
but the people decide.
The major reason why I was saying that is that some analysts are saying that the PDP has set a very tough agenda for the All Progressives Congress, saying that the processes must be followed, every process set in place. Because we are surprised as journalists that the All Progressives Congress is yet to set up a national convention committee. It's been difficult for them to screen their presidential aspirants, though we hear it's ongoing at the moment in Abuja. But it's been difficult. But here we have an opposition party trying to set an agenda for the ruling party, and it looks like the ruling party is actually not doing things easily. It's not for you to actually comment.
I have to comment on that. My comment is a quick one.
Okay, very quick.
I don't speak for the party.
Yes.
For PDP. But let me sound a note of warning. When INEC took that decision of postponing, because parties, I agree the parties asked for that, But when parties ask for something, you give a reasonable time to respond. And you watch the landscape. INEC is not living in Mars. The chairman and this national commissioner, they live on Earth in this country. They know that PDP has already slated its convention, and thousands of delegates, or at least hundreds of them with thousands of party leaders and stakeholders and stalwarts have already flooded town, taking hotel rooms in their thousands. And then it's suddenly announced, maybe for the benefit of the APC, possibly to say you've extended for 6 days, and the APC quickly postponed its own primary season till 6th, 7th, and 8th of June. That is unsavory. That's almost immoral. There may not be any law, there may be no law broken because they can hide under the argument that the parties requested for it. But then you should have applied the logic of that request early enough when PDP was equal have opportunity to postpone. So are you giving undue advantage to the ruling party, an incumbent party, that appointed the chairman, appointed the national commissioners, doing their bidding? But as I said, I don't speak for the party, because if I speak for the party, this matter will not be swept under the carpet. So next should be next time served good warning. It must be open, transparent, and above board as an arbiter. It's very important for democracy and its health.
Very interesting. So, and now the race for the vice presidential candidate of the PDP is on. The party is helping the candidate to look for a very good running mate. And we hear some of the governors from the southeast, from the south are being considered, but none from the southwest. So let's start the conversations.
I don't know. Well,
what do you think is the best way for the party to handle these grievances that especially the southern party is having? And how do you think this process can be delivered without another set of rancor again?
First and foremost, the Nigerian geography has been structurally binarized in terms of the north and south. It's a neat division in terms of geography, not in terms of fault lines or in terms of primordial loyalties, sentiments, and values. That means if you have a candidate from the north, then that geographic north will not have a running mate. So that means somebody somewhere in the south.
If not, maybe Atiku would have been considering Bala Mohammed.
Absolutely, possibly. Who knows? So somebody from
Tambuwal.
Someone from the south has to be the running mate. Now, why you do not try to set agenda for the candidate and for the party in open conversation like this is to allow the needful to be done. I'll be very much interested in discussing with you the outcome of that search. That at the end of the day, it's a Governor B or former Senate President D or whatever it is that is now the choice. That choice is primarily, I don't know, the Nigerian political tradition is a little bit complicated in this regard. In the US, the winning candidate sets up a team that goes into a search for long, even before he emerges, for a long period with so many criteria in terms of profiling, personal history, exposures, experiences, even the geography you occupy and so on. So that's a Atiku's primary responsibility. But I'm sure in a Nigerian situation, he's aided by the party. The party will naturally take over the campaigns, or create some kind of balance between the party's own expectations for the campaign season and the candidate's own structural effort to build an infrastructure that's going to lead him to victory. That means the candidate will have an idea what he wants to do in terms of the choice of a running mate. The party may have their own ideas. They will have to sit down together, examine so many variables, and then come to a conclusion that is fairly satisfactory to almost every stakeholder. But they can't carry everybody along. What they do is use the art of persuasion, art of lobby, and art of compromise and consensus building in order to get everybody on board to support such a choice.
Okay. Now, you are from the southeast, and the last time Atiku emerged, people like Ike Kweremadu were expecting to be named, having done a lot. In fact, the principal person that was expecting that gift was David Umahi, the governor of Ebonyi State. And all of a sudden, from nowhere, we saw Atiku naming Peter Obi as his running mate. Do we foresee something like that happening, considering that Atiku is presenting himself as a reformist, someone who is going to rejig the economy? And if you want to do that, I don't know if one of the governors may be the person to help you do that.
I'm not a mind reader, neither am I a thought reader. I don't read thoughts and minds of people, so I wouldn't know what his thinking is about. All I do know is that if you want to have a successful outcome in terms of this search, if I were him, I would begin with fellow aspirants sitting down, not in terms of the choice, but sitting down. The Bala Mohammeds, the Bukola Sarakis, the Munyes of Wikis, the Wadams, the Parasanyem, those who contested with you. You sit down with them, even those from the north, to sound them out, to think through the kind of options you want to have, the kind of person you're looking for, the kind of qualities the person should possess. Then the party leaders, as I talked about, and even post-party elements, those who you can call very important critical stakeholders of the Nigerian project, who may well serve you better in terms of guiding you right. So when you put all these things together, you can come up with a choice. That choice, of course, is going to sit well with the people because it's going to reflect, one, your attitudinal disposition. Do you want to run a presidency in which you are the technocratic force running the economy, or a political bridge builder because of these years and years of the past 7 years of divisiveness, of bigotry, of exclusionary kind of politics? You want to now build a country picture together, together, an inclusive kind of governance model in which let me run the politics of getting Nigeria unified. While my vice, we're going to run the economy. PDP just emerged from the shadows 2019, and possibly could have been a very potent choice by Atiku, because what he has done and where he has traversed in the past 3 years is amazing. It's unfortunate he's no longer in PDP, and now he's gone on to the Labour Party in order to deepen the conversation and the robust dialogue in the Nigerian democratic process.
He wants to be his own boss this time around. Okay, as we try to round off this conversation very quickly, what do you make of Ohanaeze Ndigbo's submission that the PDP is now a northern party with a northern presidential candidate, northern chairman, and Northern Board of Trustees
Can
chairman?
you put the Ohanaeze that said that?
Ohanaeze
Is it Professor George Obiozo?
No, the youth leader, of course.
No, he didn't say youth leader.
He
didn't say good youth leader. If you check what he said Secretary General. That's Okeamuche.
Okay.
Okeamuche I'm coming. Okeamuche is the Secretary General. Professor George Obiozo is the President General. And Dr. Alex Obonie is the Publicity Secretary. Did they speak on this matter?
Well,
These three
this
people.
is the youth wing of
No, you. I saw that. It's what he said is the Secretary General, who is Okeamuche. That's not Okeamuche. I'm not detracting from anybody's position or standpoint.
Yeah, but isn't that a reality? Let's forget about
it's
the
important.
person who made the point, but is that not a reality at the moment?
It's important because parties have a way of self-correcting. I'm not here to determine for the party how to self-correct, even if that optics is there. There's no job that is permanent except that of the candidate who is going to lead the party, maybe that of the chairman the other day. Other things are up for grabs. It could be part of the negotiation, it could be part of the settlement of disputes, it could be part of the reconciliation processes. Who knows? It's early days yet. So we have to wait for weeks and maybe months to see how there's going to be a rebalance in terms of the structural distribution of office within the party.
Won't be using that to campaign against the PDP.
Yes, so too.
So as we try to round off this conversation, I want to ask just quickly before we go, what next for Bala Mohammed? Because I asked him on Saturday, is it true you purchased the governorship form? He said, well, it's just there, but even if it does, what's wrong with that and all of that?
The stakeholders.
I really want to find out what's next for him.
The stakeholders.
Since we already have a governorship candidate.
What is next for him is that Bala Mohammed has reintroduced himself to the Nigerian people with passion and pride. He ran a dignified campaign with his Nigeria Fixed agenda resonating across board. He's visited 32 states. He only didn't visit the state of fellow aspirants as they agreed. Sokoto, Rivers, Kwara, and so on and so forth. So he's well known, far more now than before. He's actually shared his ideas and gotten massive responses. I wish maybe the list were 4,000 delegates as originally slated. Outcome could have been different. So he has a lot of work to do, building passion, building institution, even at the center here, even when he's not a candidate. But don't forget that he has unfinished business for the next 1 year in Bauchi, and all the records point to, for me, if I'm to advise, I said, if you did what Tambowa did in 2018, and what Rochas did in 2014, as party we love you to do. Rochas was the first-time governor, and the party said, go pick a form, because if you don't, the party will lose him more. Tambowa contested against Atiku in Port Harcourt. Have you forgotten Sambo? No, and ended up being a second-time governor. I say, Excellency, did you get this form? If you didn't, you should get one. That's my advice to you as acting DG of your campaign, as the spokesman of the campaign, because you need to protect Bauchi State. Wow. I heard that the stakeholders in Bauchi State are doing everything possible for him to do the needful to come and take that slot. He's still hesitant. My talk is that he should overcome that hesitation. And if indeed they pick that form, he should go for it. I'm sure the person who is there, the SSG, who is a noble man, a principled leader, a technocrat, may do the needful down the line.
We actually hear that he's a placeholder for Governor Bala.
I don't have a placeholder. I'm saying he's the candidate, but I know as a principled man, as a leader,
so
as a technocrat, he will do the needful.
What you already said. But very quickly, did Bala Mohammed misread the political temperature in the PDP by putting himself out?
No, he didn't.
As as an aspirant.
No, he didn't.
Maybe he thought so much of himself.
No, he didn't whatsoever.
But only for him to discover that he got 20 votes.
No, he didn't. What happened in a political conversation of this nature? Because processes are conversations. Contestations are conversations. Dialogue. When you see that, he said, I have done very well in the message I have sent across, the robustness of the energy I brought to bear, and my passion. Am I being a principal Democrat? Everybody has sang his song. If I don't win, I will support everyone else. That is his mantra. That means he did not misread it.
It sounds like he's still preparing for 2027 with the way you're going.
So
I won't be surprised.
Are you not looking into
I'll be surprised.
Are you looking into the
prison? You're sounding like someone who has been defeated on the political field. You're so optimistic.
Why would somebody sound defeated when you have a passion for a country? You're a patriot.
Okay, well,
that's the most important
thing.
Thank
you so much, Professor Udenta O Udenta. He's a strategist, former party leader, and who knows the intrigues that goes on within some of these campaigns and all of that. You were in the Senator Bala Mohammed campaign yourself, and of course you understood all the intrigues that played out at the PDP National Convention. Well, thank you for being on the Arise interview, and we hope to have you over and over again.
It's a pleasure, Sambo. We have a long journey.
Nigeria's political journey into 2023, because it's going to be tough. Don't forget, the APC is preparing to provide its own candidate that will slug it out with your own candidate now. Thank you so much for joining us.